Alamo Bowl is underway. Have this first offensive play of the night. Berger, the fullback, and Michael Berger. Now the wide receivers, and we'll see a number of them, Odoms and Dwight, though. And Odoms and Shaw played high school football together. Chris Knipper is the tight end. The offensive line up front, this is a very good group, particularly Ross Verba, number 73, out of West Des Moines. Reichel, Reardon, Rose, and McKinney rounding out that group. Comes across the 17 out to the 18-yard line, and here are the starters on defense for the Texas Tech Red Raiders tonight. The folks who play in that down group. Rieger, Abersham gets the start tonight ahead of Chandler McGuire. And watch number 96, Tony Daniels. Very active. This is an excellent defensive lineman. The linebackers, Robert Johnson, he is the heart and soul of his defense. Butler and Donahue, the other linebackers. And in the secondary, Brown, Johnson, Turner, and Tony Darden. Darden and Johnson will have their hands full tonight as far as covering speedy wideouts, Dwight and also Odoms. But they'll go with the run again. And tripped up behind the line of scrimmage is Shaw, and it's Rieger who got a hand on him. And Mike, they're going to scrimmage with a 3rd down and long.
Ron, this is a tough defense to start off running against because it's an 8-man front. They've got 8 people in the box. It's tough. And Matt Sherman likes to start the ball game throwing the football. He was 10 straight versus Wisconsin, 11 straight completions versus Minnesota. Said he got a lot of confidence from throwing a lot of short passes early in the game.
But the thing they want to do, I think, Mike, to be more successful is to throw maybe on 1st down and not throw when Texas Tech dictates it as they have here.
You don't want to be in 3rd and long against this Texas Tech defense. They blitz you from either side. They got 4 men on both sides.
11 yards to pick up the 1st down. Pressure on Sherman. Screen wasn't there, and he just throws it away. Almost intercepted. Brown is the man who was putting the pressure on. And Iowa looked totally out of sync on that series.
Well, bad series from start to finish by jumping offside. Illegal procedure. You're in bad shape right off the bat.
Mike, we talked in the warm-up watching Nick Gallery, number 46, as you look at Daniels going to the bench. Led the Big Ten the last 2 years in punting, and this young man can really set sail. He doesn't need any wind behind him. This is end over end. As soon as they brag on him, he kicks it but back to the 35, and now the 30. Going the wrong direction, turned around. DeBuck, with great coverage by Iowa, is going to be stopped at the 24-yard line. So let's take a look at the Red Raiders. This is the way they will scrimmage. Zebby Lethridge at quarterback, Hans Bard, of course, and Ryan Jones, the fullback. Rarely does he carry. He's a blocker. The wide receivers, and we'll see a total of 6 tonight, but Hart and Field Scoville will start the ball game. Alleman is the tight end. And the offensive line, this is a good, solid group, but particularly Ben Kaufman, number 75, the senior out of Edinburgh, Texas. Jay Pugh is the starter at center, and we were just told that he also will handle the long snaps tonight. Option on the first play. Comes back to Hansbard. They try to corral him, and he turns it back inside at the 30. It'll be a gain of 7. Matt Hughes defensively. And here is the way the Hawkeyes line it up defensively. They go with a 5 front. Chambers, DeVries, Klein, LaFleur, and Ennis Enge. And I'll tell you, Ennis Enge and DeVries will call both of their names a lot tonight. The linebackers, both, they are big fellows and tough against the run. And Hughes and Rollins. And in the secondary, Tom Knight, certainly the class of this group. In fact, a lot of the pro scouts say he is one of the best 2 or 3 corners in America. 2nd and short. Play action as gets outside. Pass is intercepted at the 45-yard line by Ples Atkins, and he just threw it right to him.
Zebby Lethridge was moving to the left side and never got his body squared to the line of scrimmage. He was throwing across his body. And when you throw across your body, most times it's going to be an interception. Ples Atkins, number 23, is just going to sit on this route. There's the play action fake, but watch. He never is able to get his shoulders turned. And he throws across his body, his legs, and there's the interception.
And that was DeVries. You see number 94, Mike. He is the one who was forcing him to rush and get that pass away. So the first big break of the night goes to the Hawkeyes of Iowa as they scrimmage from the 39. Quick look-in pass. They got Dwight right over the middle. Breaks one tackle inside the 30, and he's down to the 26. Dane Johnson holding on, but it's good for 13 yards.
When you see an 8-man front, sometimes when you go to a double slot right here like this, Tim Dwight is not covered to the inside. Both linebackers taking the fake. Tim Dwight, a little quick look-in pass. Dane Johnson on the tackle.
Damon Gibson, number 18, checks into the lineup. As you look at the junior, last year did not run track. He wanted to get to spring football, but Tim Dwight says this year he will run track at Iowa, and he is outstanding at that. That's Dwight in motion to the top of the screen. Delay. Shaw breaks out of it. He's open. 20, 15, at the 10, at the 5-yard line, out of bounds. They're going to say at the 3. Dane Johnson got it. 24 yards on the run.
When we talked to the Texas Tech players the other day, especially Tony Daniels, the defensive lineman, they said you have to wrap Cedric Shaw up because he's so strong in the lower body, you can't bring him down. You see they have some shots at tackling him. Corey Chandler misses him, and he shows you the leg strength that he has. Breaks to the outside, down the corner. Dane Johnson finally saved a touchdown.
They have spotted the ball at the 2. Ross Verba, number 73, with an excellent block. And Shaw already on 3 carries has 28 yards. He'll get it again. To the right side, 1 foot away, but did not get in to score as Ryan Donahue puts the stopper on him.
You have a turnover and you give the ball inside the 50-yard line. Your defense needs to come up big and then make the stop. And they had Cedric Shaw in the backfield, Ron.
Had him for a loss.
And they blew the opportunity to stop this Iowa offense. Now they've got to show it down the goal line.
2nd down and goal. Straight ahead, quarterback sneak, touchdown Sherman. And the Iowa Hawkeyes take advantage of a Lethbridge interception, and with 11:21 showing on the scoreboard, have put it in for the first touchdown of the night. It is loose back at the 37, and Bromert does the smart thing. He gets on top of it and recovers it. So let's take a timeout. A lot of fireworks early. 6-0, Iowa. Tonight for Diane Mitchell. Mark Mitchell is a reserve linebacker on this football team. Diane Mitchell, his mom, was killed in a car wreck coming down here to this football game from Iowa City. This happened about 48 hours ago. And in response by the team, she was a well-respected and loved mom of this team. In fact, back in August, during the kickoff classic, the Mitchells had a barbecue at their house. They invited the entire team, and she was one that constantly entertained these kids and fed them after hunting trips and what have you. They have stripped their helmets tonight in honor of her, and we send our regards to the family tonight. Obviously, Mark Mitchell not here for this ball game this evening. Hurley with the kick, and this will go out of the back of the end zone, so Texas Tech gets an opportunity. Mike, I'm anxious to see. I know it is so early in this ball game, but I think this is a huge series right here as far as this guy is concerned, because they had a lot of momentum. They got the defensive stop down here that they wanted. They had very good field position to start, and then they pick up 8 yards on the first play, and then they throw the interception.
Ron, remember, last year he set a Southwest Conference record with 211 consecutive passes without an interception. So Zebby Lethbridge is a good quarterback. I don't think he's going to let that play bother him.
You see, the Red Raiders will do this a lot. They will sprint to the line of scrimmage, and they will snap the ball quickly. Lethbridge hit in the backfield. That's Ennis Inge. Bill Ennis Inge, a senior out of Kirkwood, Missouri, who comes across and hits him behind the line of scrimmage. And it's going to be a loss of very close to 5 yards in the foot.
You can see exactly what Iowa's trying to do. They want to make sure that if Byron Hansbart's going to run the football, he's going to run it up inside. They're not going to let him outside. Bill Ennis Inge was able to square his body and not allow Hansbart outside.
Now that's what Bob Elliott, the defensive coordinator for Iowa, talked at length about yesterday. He said it will be a long night if we allow him to get outside. Quick pass, Scoble right over the middle. Just a little too far as he led him. Damian Robinson was in the vicinity, but Field Scoble was open. Couldn't hold on, and all of a sudden now Texas Tech confronted with a 3rd down. And they need 15 yards to hold on to it.
What Texas Tech chooses to do is they script their first 10 plays. So they're trying to show Iowa a lot of different formations and trying to give their coaches up here in the press box a guide of what to do after 10 plays with the adjustments Iowa shows on each formation.
Rick Dykes at the far end. He is the offensive coordinator and obviously the son of Spike Dykes. Letheridge, quarterback draw. He gets tagged at the 18 by Matt Hughes and knocked down. Letheridge probably should have taken it to the outside. He cut back into the tackle.
Yeah, he really should have. He should have read the block a little bit better. Jay Pugh, number 63, the center, who had it pinned inside, and if he'd have broke outside, picked up more yardage.
Buddy Ward, the referee tonight.
Illegal motion on the offense. Decline. 4th down.
So, Mike, this brings up a situation. Now, Iowa uses a dual safety set, but the guy that you got to watch is number 6.
Ron, the reason they put 2 back there, most teams put 1, and you can kick the ball away from one returner back there, but when you have 2, it's going to be fielded, and Iowa's a big punt return football team.
You got to always keep an eye and make sure you know where number 6 is. Here's the kick by Hernandez. Line drive, and it's Dwight. Tries to get outside on the right. Retreats, and he'll turn the corner. Takes it inside the 45 and down to the 43-yard line.
12 yards on the return by the
Dane Johnson on the special teams made the stop on him.
Well, when you have such an exciting player like Tim Dwight, the punt is going to be an exciting play tonight.
So the Iowa Hawkeyes got stopped on the opening series and had to punt from deep in their own territory. But with Gallery's big kick and then the interception, and now this guy right here, they've had advantage as far as field position.
Well, as you said, when Matt Sherman threw that ball on 1st down, gave them a little confidence, and they broke the long run.
Straight up the middle. Sherman inside the 35. Shaw, beg your pardon. Dane Johnson making the tackle, the free safety. And that is a gain of very close to 10 yards on the play.
Ron, you know Cedric Shaw's all fired up. John Goodner, he's the nearest on your screen. The defensive coordinator has to find a way to stop Cedric Shaw. Coming back home here, you talked to him the other day about his request for tickets, and he said he was excited that finally some members of his family were going to get to see him play in person.
That's right. He said over 50 tickets. He said a lot of them couldn't make that trip all the way up to Iowa City, and some of them are seeing him for the first time in person. Short yardage. He'll get the handoff this time. Hit hard at the line of scrimmage, and that's going to be either no gain or a loss of 1. Robert Johnson and Ryan Donahue combining on the stop.
Ron, it's interesting. John Goodner, the defensive coordinator, told us the other day, he said, I walked up beside Cedric Shaw at the lunch, and I wanted to see how big he was. Because he said, I didn't think he was 6'1", 195. He said, he's bigger than that. He said, he's 220 or 225. And they showed tape to his defensive team of several of his runs during the year and talked about wrapping up and bringing him down. And right off the bat, he makes a play and gets a big run against the Texas Tech defense.
Looks like he's rotating that arm. Tavian Banks has come in and given him a breather here for a second. Flags are down, and this one will come back. And I'll tell you, Tavian Banks, number 22, a junior out of Bettendorf, Iowa, has some good credentials of his own, would start for most people.
And Ron, coaches say he's like...
Dead ball. Illegal snap on the offense. 5 yards. 3rd down.
He's a lot like Ronnie Harmon, the former great player at Iowa. In the game that he started against Penn State this year, he had 26 rushing attempts for 116 yards. So very, very capable replacement.
Well, and you see that 9 touchdowns at an average of almost 5 yards per carry. If you just joined us, 6-0, Iowa. They took advantage of an interception off Zebby Letheridge and scored on their last sequence. Right now, they've got a 3rd down, and they need the 32. Sherman has it complete to Dwight, short of the 1st down. It's Tony Darden who gets over to make the hit on him. And let's see, they're going to spot him about 1.5 yards shy.
Ron, I think this is 4-down territory for Iowa because, you know, they feel like they have a big offensive line. They come out of the Big Ten, a big running conference. Tony Darden really made a good tackle there.
Chris Knipper, one of the tight ends, checks into the lineup. Iowa will go for it, 4th down, about 1.5 yards. They need to take it to the 32. Ball is tipped and knocked down, and Texas Tech will take it over. Robert Johnson got his hand on it.
Robert Johnson is an outside linebacker, and he's 5'11", 194. But in the 8-man front, he's a mix between a linebacker and a corner, and most like a strong safety. He made the play on Matt Sherman.
Like he almost came up with an interception. So let's take a timeout. 7:31 left. We'll be right back. Football game because he's 70 miles from home and getting the chance, as Mike mentioned just a while ago, to play in person for some folks, some relatives and friends that have not seen him play in college in person.
No, and he's got to pay for those tickets, so he's going to make sure he stays in this football game.
Two tight ends, Jason and Alamo, on the 3rd down and short. And Hansbard close, but I don't know. He is around the 43-yard line, and it's Rollins and Klein who combined on the stop. And Michael, I don't know if he got it. Do you punt it away?
I think if you don't make it here, you punt the football away. They ran against a 9-man front there of Iowa. Iowa had 9 people. As you see the line movement, a little slant to the tight inside. Vernon Rollins, number 56. Here's the front. Look at it, 9 people. There's a safety in the backfield back there, but 9 people loading up. That was a play in a phone booth.
Well, there you see it. It's about 18 inches. So the first major decision for Spike Dykes tonight. And he's going to go for it. No movement by this. Well, I take it back. Now got Mass moving up
I
on the
think he's
sideline.
only got one choice.
I think you're right.
Fans can boo all they want to, but he's got one choice, or that's punt the football. And it's interesting, when you have to punt it to Tim Knight, Tim Dwight, such a tough punt returner. He was talking to his punter the other day. He said, just punt it as long and hard and pray that you don't have to tackle him.
He also said, I said, Spike, can you kick it away from him? He said, no, if we tried that, we'd kick it to him every time. Jeremy Hernandez, a sophomore out of Midland, Texas, waits for the snap back at the 30. Here's his kick, end over end, and it is returnable. Here's Dwight. Runs into his own man, and Iowa will be scrimmaging from their 25-yard line. 42 yards in the punt and 11 on the return. So let's take a timeout. 6-0. The Hawkeyes on top.
Breaking against all those white jerseys, trying to run away from the white jerseys, and then he runs into his own player, Brett Chambers, number 47, and he gets up and he thinks, hey, I can run against these white jersey guys. Black jerseys are on my team.
The expression, he got up and it was like, hey, get a color chart. You knocked my head off. And Chambers shaken up on the sideline after the play. So Texas Tech tries to get another defensive stop. Sherman to throw on 1st down. Lots of time. Dwight couldn't hold on. That was a catchable football right over the middle at the 40-yard line.
And Taurus Rucker, number 89, put a little pressure on Matt Sherman just as he was about ready to throw that football. Got a lot of time. Tim Dwight, number 6, just a low throw. Tony Darden on the coverage. Now that's the coverage that Iowa likes. They like Tim Dwight versus Tony Darden.
You know what else, Mike? That right there, I'm surprised he didn't go down to catch it, but he wanted to run with the football. And that's the reason he didn't go down to the turf to come up with it. 2nd and 10. Here comes the blitz right up the middle. Sherman throws the swing pass. Shaw maybe one on the play, and it's a great job by Jody Brown. The senior out of Cross Plains gets outside to make the tackle on the speedy Shaw.
Ron, he made a great play, Jody Brown. You talk about going outside. They're going to hit the screen over here to the right side. And number 30, Jody Brown, just beats the block and then goes out and makes a good, sure-handed tackle against Cedric Shaw.
Not an easy thing. 3rd down, the line to make the 35-yard line. 6-0. Iowa leads. Just under 5 minutes to play. Opening quarter. Here comes the corner blitz. Sherman under pressure, and they're going to get him. And that's Brown again. Brought him off the corner.
Ron, those same fans that were booing a little bit ago when the Spike Dykes punted the football are now cheering for him, and that's the reason you punt the football. You put your defense back on the field, and now you've got them all the way back inside the 15-yard line. So an excellent job by the defensive coordinator, John Goodner. Jody Brown coming on the blitz. No one picks him up. Cedric Shaw misses the block, and there's the sack, and now Texas Tech's in business.
Gallery, and here comes his kick, and he boomed this one. Good heavens. DeBuck all the way back to the 23-yard line, and he'll take it out to the 35-yard line. What do we got, E? A 59-yard punt, 10 on the return. So you can see why he led the Big Ten the last 2 years in punting, as DeBuck had to get on his horse going the opposite direction.
Ron, we've seen some good punters here in the bowl games. Brad Maynard of Ball State, I thought he was excellent, maybe the best I've seen all year. This guy for Iowa, Gallery, can hit it too.
Tech wants to throw on first down. Got it complete, and that's Donnie Hart. Almost a 10-yard gain as he's bumped out at the 44. And I'll tell you about Donnie Hart. Against K-State, he suffered a concussion. And the coaches say he wasn't right for like 5 weeks, Mike.
No, and he came on late in the season. Really is starting to come into his own here at the end of the season. Made a nice catch there. And Texas Tech, Ron, a lot like Iowa. They want to run the football, but first down is their best passing down also. No
question. Against Texas, against the Longhorns, Hart had 240 yards receiving. Now DeVries standing back and small talking with Zebby Lethridge. We've had a lot of motion. Illegal procedure in this game already.
A little layoff.
Dead ball. Movement prior to the snap on the offense. 5 yards. The second down.
Right guard is moving. Shane Dunn, number 68. See his hand go up in the air. Movement. Drawing the defense. Offsides.
So Spike Dykes looks up and says, hey guys, we had a second down and very short. Now we have a second down, and we need about 6.5 to 7 to pick up the first down. This is one of the really likable guys in college football. He's a fun fella. Pitch back to Hansbard. He'll try to get him outside. Breaks one, breaks two. He'll have the first down. Matt Hughes will knock him down, but it's a gain of almost 10 on the play, and the longest gainer of the night by Hansbard.
Well, he gave him a different formation. Texas Tech came out with a bunch formation where you put 3 receivers together and ran the pitch right to it. Left side, 1 back set. Still get the good block by Ryan Jones. When you got a great tailback, you always find a good blocking fullback, and number 43, Ryan Jones, is just that.
Hayden Fry said day before yesterday, but we did the interview with him, that I said, what's the difference? You faced some great running backs this year. He said, beyond a doubt, Hansbard is the fastest, and that's what we have to be careful of. He gets the screen to him, gets by Ennis Ainge, and then Ennis Ainge comes back and makes the tackle. That's a nice second effort on his part, because if he doesn't, Hansbard might have been able to wiggle his way down the sidelines.
And Hayden Fry said he's the fastest running back. You talked about the other day, Ron. They've had success against Iowa's defense against good running backs. Darnell Autry had 240 yards, but the rest of them, they held pretty well.
Pepe Pearson against Ohio State. They shut him down. The Great Dane at Wisconsin. Also Enos for Penn State. As you mentioned, the Northwestern game, and I'm sure that Spike and him looked at that tape long and hard to see what they did.
It's a big tape because they can study how Iowa adjusted to all the formations Northwestern was going in.
Well, here's the option play. Lethridge will take it for about 5 yards, and it's Vernon Rollins who is there to put the stop on him, and now a third down at about 4.
Ron, I talked about early in the open about the quarterback that makes the best adjustment tonight against both these 8-man and 9-man fronts is going to be the successful quarterback of checking off and getting out of a bad play. And Zebby Lethridge just did that on that play because he saw an 8-man front, a bear look that Mike Ditka made so famous in Chicago. And one of the things you do is go right to the option when you see that defense.
Well, they're 0 of 2 on third down conversions. And I'll tell you, from where they've spotted the football, it's closer to third down and 5. The line to make, the 42. Lethridge wants to throw, sets in the pocket, gets it complete, and that is enough for the first down. Donnie Hart with his second reception of the night, and he's right on the yard marker as Tom Knight, who is the best of the cover guys for Iowa, gets it.
Well, Spike Dykes, when he talks about his quarterback, Zebby Lethbridge, he said he's great on third down. Now, here's a good throw to Donnie Hart. Pretty good coverage by Tom Knight, an excellent defensive back out of the Big Ten.
You know, Mike, probably that is the biggest thing that you can say about Lethbridge. As Spike said, I don't know how they come up with the average as far as rating quarterbacks, but he said, I know one thing, on third down, I've never had a quarterback who was any better than Zebby Lethbridge.
And he said he's a fierce competitor.
Count over the options. Lethbridge, 5 yards, maybe 6. That's LaFleur and Rollins again. And now, all of a sudden, you get the feeling that this Tech offense is more in sync.
Well, I was going to say, Ron, that we talked about the interception right off the bat. The layoff in a bowl game sometimes affects you. And now it looks like Zebby Lethbridge is back at home at quarterback, running the option, throwing the football, and making the adjustments at the line of scrimmage. Looks like he's a little bit more comfortable right now in this ball game.
And keep in mind one thing. Last year, 1995, Texas Tech's time of possession per ball game, 27 minutes. They averaged 38 minutes on offense each game this year, primarily because of this guy. Hansbard will have the first down, cracking his way up the middle to the 29. Matt Hughes stops him. And an 11-minute changeover in 1 year is astronomical.
It really is, Ron. And you look at Rick Dykes, the offensive coordinator. He has to feel good about the way the game is moving right now. Look at this blocking up front that springs Byron Hansbard up in the middle. But now it looks like option, pass the football, run inside with Byron Hansbard. They got it all going right now.
Well, he's getting his touches now.
Well, he really is.
That was, what, the 9th time that one pass, 8 rushes for Hansbard already in the ballgame. On first down, Lethbridge to throw. Gets it out here in the flat, overthrown at the 23. Number 6, Stacy Mitchell, who is not very big at all at 5'5", 150, a junior out of DeSoto.
I think he's the 3rd smallest player in Division I football this year, and it looked like his feet were going a little too fast for him right there. Couldn't control it, and was stumbling as the ball was thrown to him.
Same high school that Hansbard went to, DeSoto. So it stops the clock with 44 seconds left in this first quarter. Iowa took it after the turnover, missed the extra point. They lead 6-0. Hansbard turns it up, cuts it back to the middle, and is not going to get by LaFleur. If LaFleur is unable to grab him, then all of a sudden he's back to the middle and free.
Well, when you look at Iowa, they get off blocks really well here as you see the ball pitched to Byron Hansbard. Now you look at the blocking by Texas Tech, but all of a sudden they're off the blocks and they're making the play. John LaFleur, as you talked about, round number 55, was blocked, got off the block, used his hands, made the tackle.
So it's third down. 8 seconds, down to 7. This is the 8th play of the drive, and Lethbridge gets away. He's got a man open down there. He's going to run it inside the 25, and it's going to be a 4th down at about 6 as Ortlieb made the tackle, and that is the final play of the opening quarter. So let's take a timeout. Iowa's 6th in his career, 55 yards, 7 of 8 this year from inside the 50, and this attempt 42. Did not start off the season as the field goal kicker for Texas Tech, but they had some problems there. Kick is on the way. He's got the distance, but he is off to the right and no good. And you know, Mike, this is something that Spike Dykes talked at length about because they have had special teams woes this year. For instance, Texas Tech against Nebraska. Low snap. They got a kick block. This is against Nebraska and a punt return. They had played them on a very even basis, and then they gave up the punt return that Nebraska takes back for a touchdown. Or back to the 5-yard line, I should say. And against K-State, they snapped the ball over the punter's head, and K-State scored a touchdown. Spike Dykes says that kind of play is unacceptable, and I'm sure he's not pleased with what happened on that missed field goal tonight.
Yeah, and Ron, you look at against Texas, they had a field goal blocked in that ball game, 38-32. Georgia, they missed a field goal, and Georgia went the length of the field in a drive to beat them. So as he said, they could have had a great year.
And, you know, I mean, they think they've got things shored up now, but the funny thing about it is, I said, well, you're going to fire the special teams coach, and he looked kind of sheepishly at it. He is the special teams coach.
Tough to fire him.
He said, we've worked extra hard these last few weeks on special teams. Sherman under pressure again. Can he get away? Nope, he's sacked again, and this time Monte Rieger gets it. And that is a huge loss. That's going to be about 15 yards back to the 10.
Ron, it still becomes a game of, I think tonight, the quarterbacks, because both teams are similar in running the football. You got Cedric Shaw against Byron Hanspard, and I think it's a quarterback's game tonight. Matt Sherman didn't want to put this one up, didn't want to force the interception, but a long loss by Rieger back inside the 10-yard line. And Ron, where both teams have been failing so far in the first quarter is third downs. I don't think Iowa has had a third down where they've been able to turn it into first down.
No, they're 0 for 3. Line to make. They got to take it all the way out to the 35. They'll go with the running play. Right up the middle. Shaw out to the 24. Dane Johnson will make the tackle. Now, here's where the big weapon comes into effect. If Gallery gets away one of his routine kicks, with that run right there, Texas Tech is still not going to have great field position. No, I think I'd line up my return people about 15 yards deeper.
Well, I think that what they'll do is the coaches will tell them, hey, back up a little bit. Now, this is a guy that's got a heck of a leg, so you want to be able to field the ball as quickly as you can.
Hardy with a 59-yarder tonight, and he booms this one. Clint Robertson signals for the fair catch and makes it at the 30-yard line. So there's a timeout. Let's take it. 12:46 left until halftime. Iowa still by 6. 8 rushes for 28 yards, 1 reception for 1 yard. The numbers on him. That's DeBuck, who resets from the left side over to the right. Give to Hanspard, turns it upfield, has 5, 6, 7 yards, and just like that, he's got close to 8 on the play. And a flag is down. And it's going to be a procedure call. And the next thing you know, pow, he's gone. Leftwich to throw. He'll run up into the pocket. And Iowa, with a nice job of contain in his end, makes the tackle on him.
Well, that's what Bob Elliott, the defensive coordinator, told his defensive linemen. When you rush up the field against a quarterback that can run like Sebi Lethridge, come under control. Because when he does decide to take off, you've got to break down in football position and make that tackle. Gil Ennis right there for the tackle. Tom Knight in on the tackle also.
You know, it's interesting. Kellen and I were, after we visited with this young man yesterday, we both said walking out of the room, if it was a choose-up game in the backyard, after the look in his eye, we'd choose him, Mike. Right over the middle, and he's got Scoble. Field Scoble to the 45-yard line, and this crowd comes alive as Damian Robinson makes the tackle.
Well, Sebi Lethridge hits Field Scoble right on the break in the post route. You're going to see him against Ples Atkins, number 23, where he breaks the post. Little dig route. Field Scoble makes the catch, and Ron, not bad for a guy who started his career as a walk-on.
Walk-on as a quarterback, and I asked, Spike really loves this kid. He's a great story. In fact, his family in football in the state of Texas actually synonymous. His daddy played quarterback at Texas Tech. His granddad really was Mr. Cotton Bowl. He ran it for 5 decades. Now he has graduated and has taken the entrance exam for med school. Leverage all kind of time, and they're going to rack him up. LaFleur will sack him back at the 50-yard line, and it's the first time that Iowa has gotten to Letheridge tonight.
Ron, but Tom Knight makes a great play in coverage on this play, because what it looked like was going to happen was it was a hook and go to Donnie Hart, number 82, but Tom Knight just stayed back and covered it. Now watch on the top of your screen, 82. He's going to try to curl. Now he takes off. Tom Knight runs step by step. He's behind you, but pretty good position.
Second down and about 14. Letheridge feeling the pressure. Still, and going to be tackled at the 42 by DeVries. And I'll tell you, this is textbook as far as Iowa is concerned, because you talk about breaking down and not allowing him to get outside. they are doing a picture-perfect job.
Well, the play starts with Jared DeFries, number 94, getting a push up the field and getting in the face of Zebby Lethridge. Now, you see him right up inside there. Now, he forces the scramble, but now he's still being blocked. Now, he still waits. He's squared up, and now he makes the tackle on Zebby Lethridge. A nice play by Jared DeFries.
So with DeFries' his tackle, it's now third down, the line of scrimmage to 41, and they've got to go all the way to the Hawkeye 35. Iowa leads it 6-0, under 10 to play, first half. Lethridge going to go long, looking incomplete at the 25. Damian Robinson was all over Donnie Hart.
Ron, I don't know what they were looking at, but what I saw was pass interference by Damian Robinson. Of course, Spike Dykes is not going to argue. He says, get the punt team out there. Donnie Hart was running down the football field, number 82. Zebby Lethridge is going to try to put the ball up, hang it up, and number 3, Damian Robinson, just collides with Donnie Hart.
So Hernandez to punt. Jay Pugh handling the long snaps, and as we mentioned, he hasn't done it all year. Normally, Kaufman does it. Kevin Ward did it some early in the year. But Spike said that Jay Pugh has been looking good in practice, and he wanted him to do it. It's a dandy kick. It's going to hit at the 2 and go into the end zone. 59 yards in the kick, and now a couple of 59-yard jobs. And this Texas Tech crowd still, we both thought, it's going to come down to these quarterbacks, and I think that's it.
I think without a doubt it's going to come down to both of those who plays the best and that makes the fewest mistakes.
Shaw hit at the line of scrimmage, and that's Jason Jones, number 90, who will stop him after a gain of only 1. Jason Jones, a freshman out of Dallas, Texas, 6'1", 314. He is spelling Cody McGuire, who is getting a breather right now. Just what we expected, though, as far as two defenses saying to two great running backs, you're not going to beat us.
No, you're not going to beat us, and the quarterback's going to have to beat us, either getting out of bad plays, making some plays, throwing the football, or scrambling around.
Shaw stays in the block this time, and a pass thrown complete. That's Dwight out of bounds at the 32-yard line. And Shaw with a good job in the pickup on the blitz, but he took a pretty good shot, Mike.
It really did, Ron, and good block by him. But the respect for Tim Dwight by the defensive backs from Texas Tech is evident, that they're going to give him a lot of room on the outside. Matt Sherman's going to roll to the right. Cedric Shaw with a good block up inside, picking up the linebacker. Now you can see the cushion on the outside by Tony Darden, number 11. He just got so much respect for the speed of Tim Dwight.
So it's a first down, and a very big one for Iowa as they move it out to their 31-yard line. Sherman on first down. Gets the quick looking pass. There's Dwight again. Dwayne Price on the stop, and that's going to be an 11.5-yard gain and a first down again for the Hawkeyes.
I thought something interesting about Tim Dwight. He grew up in Iowa City, scored 43 touchdowns as a high school senior, but the coaches in Iowa were told about him when he was in the 7th grade. That's how good an athlete he was. And Ron, he's close to breaking some big plays all the time. Little quick slant against an 8-man front where you got 3 defensive backs. He could take it the distance.
4 catches for him now for 40 yards. Interesting thing is he loves to block as much as he loves to catch the football. Draw play to Shaw. Gets it out. Oh, breaks the tackle at the 50-yard line. And I'll tell you, you pause and you think they got him, and then they don't. And here is a late flag, and now 2 late flags coming in. First down Iowa at the Texas Tech 34-yard line. Somebody lost their poise.
Ron, in 1995, he carried the ball 42 times against Michigan State, so he's a durable running back.
And Sherman says, I want a timeout. 8:01 to play until halftime. Iowa 6-0, and 20, 15, at the 10, at the 5-yard line. The numbers on Shaw, 62 yards rushing on 9 attempts, his longest 24, the one you just saw. And he is 1 reception for 1 yard tonight. The amazing thing about him, though, is 3 straight 1,000-yard plus seasons in the Big Ten Conference. That is extremely impressive. After this play, we're going to show you the penalty and what happened after the play to cost the Red Raiders 15 more yards. Pitch to Shaw. Pressure immediately on him, and he's going to be knocked out. I beg your pardon, it is Tavian Banks who they knocked down behind the line, and Monte Rieger is the guy who got it.
Ron, you talked about the penalty, and what you tell your players when you play is don't ever retaliate, because they always catch the second guy. Here's Ross Verba. He pushes Ryan Donahue. Then Ryan Donahue takes a swing. The referees always see the second one, never see the first one, and that's the penalty.
And Verba turned and was pretended as though I wasn't even involved and was walking away, and he got 15 yards for his team. There's Donahue on the sideline, and Spike said to him as he came by, you can't lose your head. Second and long. Sherman to throw. Look in right over the middle. Has it complete, but not much there for Damon Gibson to the 40. And it's going to be a 3rd down and 16 as Corey Turner made the defensive play.
The Texas Tech defense continues to come up big and get some big plays. And that's the nature of the 8-man front, because it's feast or famine sometimes, but you get that big play on the toss sweep. You see the outside contain coming and making the play. Here's the pass. Corey Turner with a good tackle.
Tell you what, Mike, the defense may have to step up and make the big play to get the offense on track in this ball game.
Yeah, because it's just a matter of time. If you stay in this ball game with Byron Hansbard, then he can break a big play for you.
Here they come with the blitz. Sherman sets in the pocket, looking, now runs out of the pocket, and throws it complete to his tight end, Knipper, inside the 25, and I believe, yes, he got the first down at the 23. Jody Brown knocked him out of bounds, but boy, did they blow a coverage on him.
Man coverage, a blitz was on, but good pass protection by Iowa's offense. You'll see the blitz by the outside linebacker, but look at the protection. Matt Sherman has forever to throw. Now he steps to the right side, finds Chris Knipper, number 81, his tight end, and he had Tim Dwight downfield open.
So it is a first down. The new line of scrimmage is the Texas Tech 23. Iowa 6-0 and looking for more. Here comes Shaw. Left side hurdles, and he goes down to the 20. It'll be a gain of 3. Jason Jones down in the bottom of that fray.
Not much there. Jason Jones, number 90, with good penetration, making the tackle on Cedric Shaw. But Ron, right here, I think there's a mismatch out here for Iowa right now. Tim Dwight has been open constantly on Tony Darden, number 11. It's just a mismatch because of Tim Dwight's athletic ability, and I just think Iowa's going to be able to take advantage eventually of that.
Well, we'll see if they do. Under 6 minutes now until halftime. Lemonster at tight end. They always stand them up looking for the end zone, and knocked away and almost intercepted. And in fact, Odoms had to knock it away from Turner in the end zone.
Good coverage on Demo Odoms, number 10, by Corey Turner. Matt Sherman looking to the right side for Tim Dwight. He's covered, now trying to come back to the backside. Corey Turner gets turned, gets his head turned around, gets the ball deflected away from Demo Odoms.
Odoms had to play defensive back on that. And consider this, folks. Odoms, who was a senior from Austin LBJ, was a halfback in a wishbone backfield with Cedric Shaw in high school. Well, think about covering that kind of speed.
Yeah, and give the Iowa coaches credit. They took a wishbone running back and moved him to wide receiver. They saw something in him.
3rd down. They need the 13 of the Red Raiders. Here comes a blitz right up the middle. Shaw spins by the blitzing linebacker, and he's loose. And Shaw will score.
They'll go for 2 points right here with having had the extra point misfire, but that was all Cedric Shaw here. Good defense by Texas Tech, exactly what you want. People with tackling ability, but they didn't make the tackle on Cedric Shaw. And the spin moves and the good balance and into the end zone for the talented Cedric Shaw.
And 2 flags thrown for the excessive celebration.
We have a touchdown. After the play, we have unsportsmanlike conduct on the offense. Timeout, Iowa.
So Iowa takes the timeout, and we'll take a break. 5:30 left until halftime. We'll be right back. And that's Knipper for the 2 points, and it's 14-0 Iowa.
Now what Texas Tech has to do, Ron, is take advantage of this penalty on the kickoff with decent field position. But Chris Knipper in motion, coming to the right side. And the difference so far, Cedric Shaw's had 2 big runs.
Hurley with the kick on the ground, picked up at the 27-yard line, and that's Cartwright, and he'll take it out to the 4. This is the best starting position for Texas Tech tonight. And this option play going to go for a yard loss. That thing was doomed from the get-go. The guard almost ran over Zebby Lethbridge.
Yeah, there's a collision with the quarterback from the start, Zebby Lethbridge. There wasn't anything there. This blew up right from the start. Zebby Lethbridge is going to take the handoff. The guard bumps into him. The fullback bumps into him, and he really didn't get to take the ball out to make the option effective. Byron Hanspar had the pitch, and Iowa was there.
I'll tell you what, Mike, DeVries has certainly got a lot of penetration on a lot of plays tonight. Anytime that's happening, your running game's going to go south. They fake it to Hanspar. Lethbridge to throw deep over the middle and incomplete behind Donnie Hart. Very dangerous as that ball could have been intercepted.
You talk about Jared DeVries, though. He leads Iowa in tackles for losses, and he really has done a good job here in the first half against Hanspard and the offensive line of Texas Tech. But he's had 19 tackles for losses for 120 yards. So a defensive lineman that's always working up the field. You know, the reason he's got such good speed, I mean, he weighs 260, but he was a fullback in high school, and they took him and beefed him up. That's the reason for the great movement. Right over the middle, he got him. This got to be pass interference. There you go. Donnie Hart, the intended receiver, Knight just ran up his back.
Intended for Hart. Flag on the play.
Ron, Tom Knight, we talk about great players. He and Sean Springs out of Ohio State are considered 2 of the best corners in the country by the pro scouts. Tom Knight just blankets Donnie Hart here, just all top of him right there for the interference.
A few cheers from the Texas Tech crowd and a few boos from the Iowa partisans. As you look at Tom Knight, a senior out of Marlton, New Jersey, 5'11", 190. Hanspar, left side, and a gain of only a couple as Rollins, one of the first men to get there along with Kerry Cook. And I'll tell you, so far, the game plan for Iowa has worked wonderfully, and that is they want to keep him inside, and that's exactly what they've done.
Yeah, and you just got to stay with your game plan if you're Texas Tech, because you can still put the ball in his hands, because you never know, as we've been saying, when he's going to break a long run. He's an outstanding back. He was recruited by Notre Dame and Colorado, a very highly recruited player out of high school.
And will announce tomorrow whether he will turn pro or what. And here he is, 5, 10, 15, counted off at 17 yards. Damian Robinson made the stop, and that's all it takes. He is a different kind of runner for Shaw. Shaw doesn't know if he's going to run over you or around you. Hanspard gets around you.
And Ron, you talked about him making a decision on whether he's going to come back to college football, but when he was deciding on college, he was in the shower and he heard the Lord talk to him and said, go to Texas Tech. And Spike Dykes had a good comment the other day. He said, we're not allowing him to take showers now because we want him to come back. We don't want any decisions made to leave here. But an outstanding young man.
He is a licensed minister. Counter Trey. Here he comes again. Waits for his guard. Puts his shoulder down, and in the vicinity of the 26 is Raj Clark, a freshman out of Baytown, Texas, makes the stop. You know, this is the kind of trip that is big for Iowa. They've got 17 Texans on this football team, and I know Michigan was excited. They had a bunch of Texas kids last year. This is not only a bowl game, but a recruiting trip for this man here.
Well, there's no doubt. When you bring your team to an area of the country and you're there for a week, 10 days, and all of a sudden the people who are the good players in this area or in Texas will all of a sudden see your uniforms. They'll see a little bit about your program, and it's a great recruiting tool.
Option, Lethbridge, and Iowa plays it nicely. He'll only have a couple. It's Ortlieb who trips him up, and he's down at the 25-yard line, and there is a flag at the line of scrimmage. To nothing, the Iowa Hawkeyes of the Big Ten leading Texas Tech of the Big 12. Fake the option. Boy's got his tight end open and was rushed in the middle and could not get it away, and LaFleur messed up everything And I'll tell you, over the middle, Jason, the tight end, had broken free. No one was around at the 10.
No, you're right. 95, P.J. Jason was running downfield, and if he hit him quickly with the football, he had a big gainer. But, again, you talked about John LaFleur, number 55. They're getting a push up inside,
and
they're getting in the face of Zebby Lethridge, who's 6 foot tall, and causing him to adjust.
But again, that's the thing I mentioned to Breeze. John LaFleur is the tackle on the other side. So that 50 front giving the Red Raiders some concern in this first half. Third down. They need the 20. Straight ahead, they give it to the fullback. And Ryan Jones maybe has a yard, and that's it. John LaFleur is down at the bottom of that scrum.
Ron, you want points, but I'm not sure I'd kick this field goal right here. Spike Dykes is going to think about it a little bit. I'm not so sure I wouldn't go for this one on 4th down with Byron Hanspard.
Well, we'll think it over with him. 1:34 left until half. Turns it upfield and close to the first down. And I'll tell you, from where the line judges come up, he's not going to have it. It is DeVries who got out there to make the tackle. And Iowa is jumping up and down. They say, nope, we have stopped him.
Ron, I still think with the problems that you have in the kicking game, that still was the right call to go for that first down. Good play by Iowa. Give them the credit. They stopped Byron Hanspard short of the first down.
DeVries, who made the tackle, is limping off the field, but he got his work taken care of. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, he grew up in Iowa. He was recruited by Wisconsin and Nebraska, but he said he always wanted to be a Hawkeye.
So Matt Sherman and the offense come back on, and I would imagine a couple of times in Cedric Shaw's stomach, and then head to the locker room. If he breaks something, wonderful. In fact, they don't even have him on the field right now. Odom in motion. They go straight ahead. Berger, and he will have it for 5, maybe 6 yards.
When those fullbacks
left until halftime, but there's a second down. Tavian Banks. Got him corralled. Here comes the flag down, and I'll tell you, 31-yard line. Sherman back to throw. Going to go long, and White took it away from 3 defensive people. Ran underneath a rainbow. That is hard to believe.
Ron, he is so exciting as a football player. Oh, he runs so fast that he's just so tough to defend. And now
play action this time. Pass, got it complete. Tight end Jason. And he will have the first down out of bounds at the 29 as Matt Hughes makes the tackle. And look at Lethridge. He is pumped.
Yeah, this is where, again, coaches make adjustments at halftime. You have 30 minutes, so it's an extended halftime. You had a lot of time to sit down there as a staff and say, okay, these things will be good. So they get a misdirection pass to P.J. Jason right here, and all of a sudden you get going again.
111 yards. You can see what they normally average as Hanspard is tackled by Ennis Inge. And that is going to be a gain of about 3 yards in the play. I was interested in talking with Rick Dykes, and he said they not only script off the beginning of the ball game, sometimes they will also script to begin the second half so they can give as many different formations.
And what that does, Ron, is the players know ahead of time what you're going to do. Bill Walsh started that many years ago with the 49ers, but it gives your players a chance to say, okay, when you stand at halftime and you talk to them, you say, okay, we expect these different fronts. Here's the plays we're going to run. Here's your assignment, so they are prepared.
4 wide receiver set for Texas Tech. It's McKenzie in motion, and they give it to Hanspard to get him spread out a little bit, and he's tackled after a gain of 3. Matt Hughes defensively.
He's a defensive back in high school, Matt Hughes. There's Rick Dykes now again. Son of Spike Dykes. He's making the calls down to his dad, and then it goes on to the football field. But to me, Ron, there's no more important drive for Texas Tech than this one.
In first drives this year, Texas Tech had scored 9 of 11 times. And tonight, they didn't get it done. Play action. Lethridge, no place to run, and DeVries is there again. I'm telling you, DeFries has looked all world tonight. He has been right there, not only with penetration, but in playing contain.
And Ron, he does a great job of keeping square to the line of scrimmage. He doesn't get turned. He keeps his shoulder pads square to the line of scrimmage on Zebby Lethridge. Good contain also by the Iowa defensive ends. They just have not allowed them outside.
Well, here's Hernandez, and let's see if they can keep it away from Dwight. Tim Dwight in a dual safety, and here's the kick, and they kick it away from him. It's going to come down to Odoms, and he falls down at the 25. So let's take a timeout following the 42-yard kick. Iowa's first second-half possession after this. Here.
It's a good bowl game and a good matchup by two good leagues. And the players, when you talk to them, they had a great time here this week.
Iowa right now leading and handling this football game at 17-0. And Tech comes out and thought that possibly the little better drive to open the second half, but it was not there for them. Flemister, the tight end, comes out along with Tim Dwight, the wide receiver. They go straight ahead with a running play. That's Shaw. And let's check in with Kellen Winslow. Kellen?
Well, Ron, a very difficult point at defensive line for Iowa. DeVries, number 94, came out of the game right after that last play. Serious cramps in his left leg. They're trying to work it out. He should be okay to get back in the ball game.
Thanks, Kellen. It looked like he had that leg really stiff as he was coming off the field, and I wondered if that was not the case. It was very warm here in San Antonio today. In fact, close to 80 degrees. It's comfortable inside the dome, but not accustomed to it being quite that warm up in Iowa this time of year. That's Flemister in motion to tight end. They pitch it back to Shaw, turns it upfield. There comes the jet, and he gets hammered, but he has the first down at the 39. Jody Brown comes up to make the hit. DeFries, 5 stops in this ball game to reinforce what Kellen was talking about in the part he's playing.
When I talked to Cedric Shaw, I asked him about the matchup with he and Byron Hanspard. He said, I'd be glad to walk off this field with a win. I'm not interested in yardage, but boy, Ron, he is really playing like a guy possessed, being back home and wanting to do well for the family.
Oh, that last rush, he is now at 98 yards for the ball game. Flemister in motion. They try to crack back with him, and he's going to lose yardage on this one. McGuire and Monte Rieger.
Shaw hit behind the line of scrimmage by Monte Rieger.
Good penetration again by the Texas Tech defense. Monte Rieger, number 34, is going to blitz up inside and not get picked up. Good penetration.
Plus the fact that's time Texas Tech wrapped up. A couple of times they've had him in this ball game. One in the long 24-yard run to take it to the 2-yard line. They simply didn't wrap up on it.
No, and again, I talked about this in the Nevada game. You have a layoff, and you don't tackle as much. You don't practice tackling, and you're going to be sloppy. You're going to be sloppy in a bowl game.
2 tight ends. They give it to the fullback, and straight ahead is Berger, and he is close. In fact, he will have the first down. Well, one line judge said he had it at the 50. The other said he's just a little bit short. Let's see. This may call for a measurement.
Ron, what I'm talking about is when you start the season in two-a-days, you really practice the fundamentals of tackling. And then as the season goes on, you practice it a little bit. But then at the end of the season, you don't want a lot of contact because your guys are wore down. And then you have a layoff for a bowl game, and you don't come back and practice tackling, live tackling. You talk, you set up and you fit up, but you don't practice live tackling. And that's why there's a lot of missed tackles in bowl games.
Well, as you can see, about 6 inches short. That's all they missed it by. Well, what's the comparison as far as Shaw and Hansbard? Hansbard now 17 tries, 60 yards. And for Cedric Shaw, 96. He lost a couple on that one play. 15 touches, and he has the touchdown.
And the biggest difference is 2 big runs by Cedric Shaw. Byron Hanspard has not been able to get loose.
Knipper, the tight end, checks back into the lineup, and Flemister will come to the sideline. Mike, why do they stand up their tight ends like they do?
Well, they're different than anybody around the country. They stand him up. They get a good look at coverage. They get a good look at defense. And then on their toss play, they're able to reach right now to the defensive outside linebacker, defensive end, whoever he's going to block on. So just a different focus and a different twist by Hayden Fry.
Under your watch, here comes 81, Knipper to the line of scrimmage, and he will not go on a three-point. He will stand. And he blocks inside as they take it straight ahead. They'll pick up the first down.
Matt Sherman on the
As they just move out the middle of the line. Reardon, Reichel, and Derrick Rose blocking up front. Matt Reichel, an interesting story, a sophomore out of Greendale, Wisconsin, scored a 34 on his ACT. He has literally a 4.1 average in a 4-point school, and it's because of extra credit and extra courses that he takes, but an outstanding student. Matt Reichel, number 76. There he is.
I believe that he knows who to block in his football game, too. A pretty smart young man.
17-0. Iowa leads it. They go with the counter tray. Shaw gets by one, will not get by number 90, and that's Jason Jones. You know, Jason's not a starter, but we have called his name several times tonight. Big young freshman at 6'1", 314 out of Dallas.
And Iowa's done a nice job on the leading defensive lineman, Tony Daniels.
Yeah,
we
they
haven't
have
called his name much tonight. Number 86, he really is probably the best defensive lineman for Texas Tech. He's had 11 tackles for losses, 4 caused fumbles, and 4 fumble recoveries. But tonight he's been blocked fairly well by the Iowa offensive front.
Yep, we talked to him yesterday. He set out the spring when he had a knee injury that kept him out all of 1995, but has played extremely well this year. They need his big play here in the second half. Pressure's on. Sherman gets his pass complete. There's Tim Dwight. And he is now over 100 yards for the ball game as Tony Darden makes the tackle.
Ron, every young receiver that high school or grade school that's watching tonight, watch Tim Dwight come back and use his hands and come back and snatch the football out of the air. He runs a deep curl route against Tony Darden, comes back and uses his hands and makes that catch, and then makes extra yards after the guy. I really am impressed with him.
Dane Johnson did not break on that ball real quickly, did he?
No.
Looked as though he got fooled.
He's as fast as advertised, Tim Dwight.
First down, Iowa. They have it at the Texas Tech 35-yard line. And here's Mike Berger.
You know, Ron, when you've got a guy like Tim Dwight out there, and you watched Iowa play a couple times this year, you talked about on television, but he is always a threat on the reverse, too. That's why you get so accustomed to following Cedric Shaw with the football, and the next thing you know, they're going to bring Tim Dwight back on a reverse, and so that's the scary part if you're the defensive coordinator, John Goodner.
Tim Dwight's dad is a teacher, school teacher, American Studies, he said. That's Berger in motion away from the line of scrimmage. They go back to Shaw. Hit from behind. There's Tony Daniels right there who makes the tackle. Dwayne Price also up from the secondary, the nickelback.
Dwayne Price and
We're talking about Tim Dwight. Again, he told us that he really was close to going to South Carolina with Sparky Woods last year, and they got fired. And he said he may. You asked him. He said, would you have gone to South Carolina? And he said, I may have gone there. He visited Stanford, and he really felt at home. And I doubted he would have gone anywhere but Iowa, being born and raised there at Iowa City. But he really took a good look at South Carolina.
Well, when that staff got fired at South Carolina, that's the reason he looked away from it. High formation, Shaw. Flag comes down. Nice juke move to the outside. He'll take it for the first down. And now let's see what that marker is about. This may be holding, Mike, from where it was thrown and when it was thrown. Nope, procedure.
I don't believe there's been a holding call tonight.
Texas Tech has asked for a couple.
Yeah. That's what I said. There hasn't been any tonight.
Illegal formation. 5 yards.
Well, here's Shaw one more time. You see he fakes the move inside.
Looked like Ross Burba had his hands around there. Could have been one, but not called.
That's a good job by Robert Johnson staying at home to make the stop. Now with the penalty, third down, line to make just inside the 25. We are already down to 6 minutes left in this third quarter. And Iowa not only holding on, but running down the clock.
And I'd make sure I knew where number 6 was if I was a defense for Texas Tech.
Well, there he goes. He got him in motion, but they go with the run, and they're not going to pick it up. The Shaw will be tackled by Jody Brown at the 30. And this is going to be a distance job if they go for the field goal. This will be at least 42, if not 43 yards.
Jody Brown's had a good first half for Texas Tech. He missed one tackle, but really has been active up front. Now, he's a safety, and when an 8-man front, they cheat him up in the running game, and he's made some big plays for this defense.
Hurley will come on. He's their distance field goal kicker. Robert is the guy that they use from shorter range. This is a 47-yard attempt.
47-yard field goal.
You can see from long distances he is very accurate. Well, he got all the distance in the world, and this one is no good. Wide right. And he thought it was good, Mike. Both he and the holder, Driscoll, stood up and gave a signal that they thought it was good. The official underneath the upright on the right said nope, no good. Timeout on the field. 5:10 left in the third. Back to San Antonio after this. You are exactly right. This is one of those cities where, whether it's festival time or whether it's Christmas or the spring holidays, it's an interesting place to visit. A lot of history and a lot of fun. First down, Texas Tech. Here's Hansbard. And that defense of Iowa has just been so persistent, they will not be beaten, Mike.
And Ron, you notice at number 3, Damian Robinson just keeps getting up there. Every time Byron Hansbard tries to turn the corner, Darren Robinson, the free safety, is there. See him right there in the middle. He's going to come over and make this play. Hayden Fry compares Darren Robinson to Merton Hanks of the 49ers. Pretty good comparison.
Lethbridge to throw on second down. Sits in the pocket. That one well overthrown. Fields Scoville, the intended receiver, as Ples Atkins had the cover, and now it's going to be third down as he was well off the mark. I think probably the best thing that you can say as far as the Iowa defense is concerned, like on that, not the last play, but the play before, nobody's on the ground. They stay up and do a great job with their hands, Mike.
Well, they do. They get off blocks fast. What you want defensive guys do, get off blocks and make plays. Now, Texas Tech is running out of chances here, even though it's 4:59, because Iowa's offense will continue to possess the ball and run time off this clock.
Lethbridge back to throw on third down, and he dumps it out to Hansbard. Hansbard puts the head down and finally is going to be tackled at around the 36-yard line. Rollins and Kerry Cooks. And it is punting time for the Red Raiders again.
Lethbridge's pass complete to Hansbard.
Just an excellent job by Bob Elliott, the defensive coordinator in this Iowa defense.
Now there's the guys. Tim Dwight. Demo Odoms, number 10, is back with him. Last time, Hernandez kicked it away from him.
But the idea of putting 2 back there is that you can't kick it. You may be able to kick it away from Dwight, but it's going to be handled with 2 guys back.
There's the punt, and again he kicks it away from him. Odoms lets it get away from him and now takes a big Texas Tech bounce. This thing is going to go dead inside the 20-yard line. So there's a timeout on the field. 4:02 left to play in the third. So Texas Tech 17-0 as the Red Raiders have not been able to find the key to get that lock open.
No, and the defense is going to have to do it. They've got to cause a turnover here because they've got to change this game. Games are totally in Iowa's favor.
Knipper in motion. Shaw right up the middle, and he's going to take it for 4, maybe 5 yards. Donahue puts the hit on him. College football action continues with ABC Sports presentation of the Rose Bowl. Number 2 Arizona State against number 4 Ohio State. New Year's Day, 4:30 Eastern Time. And then on Thursday, number 1 Florida State against number 3 Florida in the Nokia Sugar Bowl down in New Orleans. For that last carry, Shaw now over 100 yards. 7th 100-yard rushing game this season, the 20th of his career.
And Ron, give that offensive line a lot of credit. They've done a nice job blocking for him tonight.
All right, David Robinson.
They fake it to him, want to throw. One-man route, and he misses this one badly. Dwayne Price was out there on the cover.
Yeah, that didn't fool Dwayne Price at all. He was sitting back in center field. He knew they were going to take a shot on Tim Dwight. down the field. But that just was a bust because Tim Dwight was running across the field and the ball was thrown down the middle of the field. Good coverage here on number 6. Tim Dwight is going to run a post. You see the free safety, Dwayne Price sitting back in center field. There's no place for that ball to be thrown.
I called it a one-man route. Actually, you could see a couple of people. Gibson, one of those underneath, is kind of a safety valve, but he didn't look to either one of those. He wanted Dwight all the way. Too tight in alignment this time. Sherman under pressure gets it away and incomplete. And now here's a flag down back at the 17-yard line. They're coming after him, and here's his kick. Good heavens, what another missile. DeBuck all the way back to the 18-yard line, and he's going to be hit by guess who? Tim Dwight. 56 yards on the kick and a -1 on the return.
That's why I say when you got a punter that punts it that far, you got to take every advantage you can get to back him up. Tim Dwight looking on coverage now. He loves to cover kicks. Great offensive player. He comes down full speed, comes under control, and then makes a good, solid tackle.
Well, we told you he's a great track man. Not only loves to catch the football, but he loves to block, and he also obviously loves to cover kicks with that kind of speed.
He's just outstanding, Ron.
Tech to throw on first down. Lethbridge gets it away. Too tall. Intended for Hart, and Robinson almost made the pickoff. And let's check in with Kellen Winslow. Second down and 10. There's a pass right over the middle. Has it complete, and there's McKenzie. And Texas Tech really with the first substantial throw and catch here in the second half. Kellen, let's try you one more time.
All right, Ron, as I was saying, Bill Ennis-Inge, the defensive lineman for Iowa, was walking a bit down the sideline during the break, telling his teammates that the Texas Tech players were afraid of them, that they were controlling, and they could keep playing with a lot of pressure because Texas Tech is about to fold on them.
Well, that pass to DeBuck is complete, and right now Texas Tech abandoning the run and throwing the football and picking up some yardage with it.
Well, you always try to find a spot in the ball game. Bill Ennis-Inge trying to figure a way to break the spirit of this Texas Tech football team, and Zebby Lethbridge trying to keep it alive with throwing the football.
And they're also running a little hurry up. Here's Hansbard. Cuts it back into the middle. Gets loose for a second. Ball is loose. And Texas Tech has recovered, and I believe where he recovered it is going to be enough for the first down. Plus the fact there is a marker at the line of scrimmage as Pugh made the recovery.
Was a solid hit in the secondary on Byron Hansbard.
Texas Tech, flag on the play.
And the Iowa player is down following the hit. That's Thigpen, sophomore out of Dalton, Illinois.
Byron Hansbard, Ron, was really making some good moves and good cuts. You see the hit right here. Number 3 hits him first. That's Damian Robinson. And then I believe Thigpen comes in and caused the fumble.
You could see his head go back almost as if he had been knocked out. Timeout on the field. 2:03 to play, third quarter. Iowa. He took quite a shot, Mike.
Made a good hit on Byron Hansbard. We're going to see it, number 21. Eric Thigpen come in, caused a fumble. Looked like he hit the arm of Byron Hansbard. With number 3, Damian Robinson from one side. There's the shoulder, and good hit by Eric Thigpen. Caused a fumble. Texas Tech recovered, but have since been penalized on that play.
Illegal use of hands against Texas Tech. And instead of having the first down, it's going to be second down, and the new line of scrimmage is going to be back at the, where do they have it? The 34-yard line. And it looks as though he's okay, but they're just trying to help him get a few more cobwebs out. Now, Thrifty Carbonell Bowl Week continues tomorrow with the Plymouth Holiday Bowl, and this one kicks off at 8 o'clock with number 13 Washington 9-2, taking on number 8 Colorado. The Buffaloes also 9-2 tomorrow evening from San Diego. And Mike, they have now brought a cart on, and they want to make sure that that he is okay. They're going to wheel him right underneath the stadium here and take him to the X-ray unit. That's a good sign.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about
not going to have to lie down, but they will take him underneath and check him out immediately, which is a great thing that these new stadiums have now. They can take you right to a unit, or they can get you X-rayed, not even have to transport you by ambulance to a hospital. So obviously he is hurt, but not hurt as badly as what could have been. We'll try to get a report on him. 2:03 left to play, third quarter. Iowa continues to dominate this ball game. Texas Tech, with the penalty, is going to be faced with a second down and about 15. Tackles in the ball game for Iowa. Hughes with 7 to Freeze with 6. Let's see what the Red Raiders come up with on second down. They want to throw. Pressure off the corner. Pass right over the middle is caught, and that's Hart at the 50-yard line. Hart makes the sliding catch, and it's good for the first down.
Well, it looks like Zevi Lethridge is throwing a little bit more confidently here in the third quarter round as we wrap it down, and throwing the ball over the middle a little bit better.
They're also going no huddle here and trying to speed it up a little bit against Iowa. And Iowa's dropped the safety off, Mike, 20 yards off the football. They pump it once, wants to go long to Hart. He got held up. And now Lethridge just going to run for his life and go out of bounds. And that's Hughes who forced him out.
It looked like he actually did get help. 82, Donnie Hart was trying to get free, but couldn't get free from the corner. And that's who Zevi Lethridge wanted to go with to the football, and couldn't get the ball to him.
And Iowa's got another player down. It looks as though it's Tom Knight. Has injured an ankle and is down at the 24-yard line.
That's two defensive backs that have been hurt, and where that affects you is if you want to go into a nickel or a dime with the extra defensive backs on the field, especially with Texas Tech going no huddle now. You need some extra defensive backs on the field.
So let's take a timeout. 1:31 left in this third quarter. Back right after this. Also Atkins on the other side. Pressure up the middle. They set the screen and got it complete, and Hanspart dropped the football.
Nice job by Bill Ennis, number 9. They ask him to do a lot of things. They ask him to rush the passer, and they ask him sometimes to drop off. He gets his hand up, Ron. He's being blocked. Now watch number 9. Bill Ennis, he gets his hand up there, makes the extra effort to deflect that ball away from Byron Hanspart. He's had a great ball game.
He tipped it just enough to knock Hanspart off stride. Third down, they fake blitz. They don't go with it. They throw it complete to McKenzie, and McKenzie will have the first down at the 40. Rollins got it.
Now, Texas Tech, by going no huddle, the injuries to Big Ben and Knight really sets Iowa in some standard defenses now. They have them in a special defense now. Zevi Lethridge is taking advantage of that.
First down. Lethridge sets, going for McKenzie, got him open, just overthrew him. Wow, he had a step at the 18. Damon Robinson trying to cover, but he was behind him.
Ron, I still think you got to keep Byron Hanspart in. You go to a throwing game, you're down 17, 1:03 to go, but you still have to run Byron Hanspart on some type of draw or run him at this Iowa defense to keep him honest.
You know, Tech has been very successful on the quick slant patterns also, Mike. Scoble and also Donnie Hart. Here's Hanspart. They run him up into the middle. He'll have 2 yards. DeVries puts a stop on him, and now Tech with a third down, and it's going to be about 8 for the first.
Byron Hanspart, Oklahoma committed 9 people to stopping Byron Hanspart, and they held him under 100 yards.
Tonight he's got 71.
And tonight Iowa has just done a great job in stopping him.
Going deep. Right over the middle, and that's got to be interference. Oh, my goodness. His hand was right. Look, Field is going crazy. He was all over it.
Billy Coates, number 30, is the corner that just replaced Tom Knight. You can see he is
he's all over
Field Scoble.
Spike Dykes says, let's go for it. 4th down and 8. They need the 30-yard line. Quarterback draw, nothing. Gonna lose Bill Innis-Inge along with Ortlieb on the stop, and Iowa takes it over 5 times. They've gotten to the Tech quarterback tonight.
Well, Bill Innis-Inge came in with 10 sacks, and he is right in on Zebby Lethridge, and I believe this was supposed to be a quarterback draw all the way. No, it was a pass play, just broke down from the start. Good rush by Bill Innis-Inge, and also John Ortlieb. Boy, a tough series for Texas Tech because they had some opportunities there.
Sherman comes trotting on. 27 seconds left in this 3rd quarter. Iowa leads it 17-0.
Ron, I've been impressed with Iowa. Now, Iowa has played a great defensive football game, and an impressive running back in Cedric Shaw, and a receiver in Tim Dwight. That's as good as any we've seen all year.
Shaw to the line of scrimmage. Will have it coupled. Tavian Banks, I beg your pardon.
Tavian Banks on the carry for the Hawkeyes, brought down by Jody Brown.
That could be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Tavian, the junior, out of Bettendorf, Iowa, and as we mentioned, White in motion. Pitch comes back to Banks. Tries to turn the corner, has a blocker in front, and that's Monte Rager, who is out there to make the hit. And let's check in with Kellen Winslow.
Well, Ron and Mike, just some updates on the injuries. As far as Thigpen and Knight are concerned, two defensive backs for Iowa. The team doctor and the head trainer have gone inside with both players, so no one could give us a definite report on what the extent of their injuries. But I will tell you that when Knight left the field, he was very shaken up, even to the point where he was shaking. So we'll wait to see when they come back out what they give us.
Okay, thanks, Kellen. 3rd down, and Iowa needs to take it to the Tech 45 to keep this drive going. Pressure coming off the corner this time. Look in pass, incomplete. That was intended for Odoms. And it will be 4th down. Now, what's going to be interesting, we have seen him boom the ball tonight. I want to watch Gallery and see how he can pooch kick it, because this for him is a pooch kick, Mike.
I'll tell you, Ron, I've been impressed with Brad Maynard from Ball State was the best punter I've seen all year. But I tell you, this guy, Nick Gallery, is right there with Maynard.
Now here's his kick, and he booms another one. Fair catch is signaled for at the 5, and it goes into the end zone. Well, New Year's Eve on ESPN College Hoops action tips off at 9:30. Well, number 2 Wake Forest, led by Timmy Duncan, takes on number 8 Utah, led by big man Keith Van Horn. This is a rematch. Last year, Utah went up to Wake, and they lost in a close one. Now Wake has to go west and play up in Salt Lake. Ron Franklin, Mike Gottfried, and Kellen Winslow coming to you from San Antonio, Texas. 17-0. The Iowa Hawkeyes scored 6 in the 1st quarter and 11 in the 2nd quarter. Lethridge on 1st down. Got a lot of time, gets it away, complete. And that's McKenzie and close to a 1st down. And now there's a flag, and we could have a late hit against Iowa. That's what it's going to be. Personal foul, roughing the passer.
Well, that's what Texas Tech needs, because they have not been able to get the big play on this Iowa defense. Good play fake by Zebby Lethridge. Good throw, and then there's the hit by John LaFleur, number 55. And credit this Iowa defense. They have not allowed any big plays by this Texas Tech offense. Everything they have earned tonight has been difficult on offense.
McKenzie in motion, top of the screen, play action, and a pass to McKenzie, complete at the 50, and he stepped right out of bounds. Billy Coates was there defensively.
Ron, when you look at great running backs, Byron Hansbard not only runs the ball very well, but he's asked to block. This is a play action. Now watch, he's going to block number 37, Matt Hughes. Gets a fake, gets right up in the knees of Matt Hughes, and blocks him and protects his quarterback, Zebby Lethridge.
Now, Mike, they're saying that he caught the ball out of bounds. They're taking it back to the line of scrimmage. Lethridge sings the pass, has it complete at the 48. That's Matt DeBuck, who went high in the air. Matt's only 5'8", and he stretched it out much taller than that to come down with the football. It'll be third down, about 3.
They're working on Billy Coates over there, the backup for Tom Knight, number 30.
Well, those corners for Iowa come up to play bump, and then they go off him. Now look, he's got it. He beat it. Got it complete. I don't believe it. Mitchell dropped the football as they got him playing too aggressively. Little stop and go.
Well, you talked about the bump and run. It's Billy Coates, number 30. Now he bites on the hitch, and now he's gone. Stacy Mitchell, number 6, behind him, but forgot to bring in the football. That was the big play that they have not been able to get tonight.
That's right. 4th down, and obviously they got to go for it. Down 17-0. They need 3 yards. They come with the option. Hansbard with the wrong way. Ed Sada makes the tackle. Hansbard went to the right. Lethridge came to the left side.
Well, remember, he was sick and didn't practice this week, and that may have affected him.
Cornerback will not return in this one tonight. 17-0. Iowa leads it. 13:22 left to play in our ball game. White in motion at 57 yards. Tim White gets a breather. 25, Richard Willock comes in at wide receiver along with Odoms, but they go straight ahead with the running play, and that is Filer inside the 20. He's down to the 15-yard line. Jody Brown defensively will make the stop on him, and it's a gain of 12.
Well, Kellen Winslow talked about Bill Ennis saying, you know, we can break their will, and I think they're right at that point right now to knocking them out right here. Rodney Miller, number 34, breaking up inside there and just running strong, good leg drive, and again, missed tackles by Texas Tech, Ron, and they just have not tackled very well tonight.
Miller's a great-looking kid, number 34.
We always look at a bowl game, the motivation. Sometimes teams just don't show up to play. Reward, and they played hard during the year, and for some reason.
Tavian Banks, Mike, takes it down to the 10-yard line. Bobby Cartwright defensively.
And as coaches, you just work them and practice them and get ready for this game, and so many mistakes by Texas Tech tonight.
Interesting that they are giving Miller a chance to play tonight at fullback, because he has not seen a lot of action, but he's a senior out of Waco, Texas, which of course is where Coach Hayden Fry played his college football. Banks the only setback this time. 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers. 17-0 Iowa as we go under 12 minutes in the ball game, and it's Banks right up the middle for a yard. Tony Daniels has him by the ankles.
Ron had talked about the quarterbacks checking off tonight. There's a couple different ways you can do it. Matt Sherman, usually you have a color in your cage. You'll go set. blue, 22, and then Hutton. And there's always a color that's a live color, and probably at Iowa it's a black. So if you say set, black, and then the next number is the play you're going to check to. Now, the other way you go to it is check with me and go with a run and a pass and go to the line of scrimmage and make that call. And I'm sure tonight Matt Sherman has done a good job for Iowa of checking off plays.
Third down, and they need the 5-yard line. As Berger goes in motion, Tavian Banks not going to have the first down. He is at the 9. Jody Brown and Jason Jones defensively for Texas Tech.
Tony Daniels got in the backfield, forced that play up inside right to Jason Jones, who's had a pretty good ball game.
Zach Bromert, the sophomore out of Pensacola, will come on to attempt the field goal. And this one's going to come from where he's standing at about 26, maybe 27 yards. Ryan Driscoll to hole, number 7.
Zach Bromert to attempt a 26-yard field goal.
Trying to make it a 20-0 ball game. And again, a little trouble handling the snap, but he is perfect. Knocks it down the middle. So we'll take a timeout. 10:36 left in the ball game. 20-0 Iowa.
At Glidden, we know how hard it can be to find time to paint. That's why spread satin is formulated to cover the first time, so you can finish in less time. Glidden, a better way to paint.
Only at Builders Square. Glidden famous spread satin now on sale for only $9.75 a gallon.
San Antonio, where we predict you'll have the best time every time. For a free vacation kit with valuable discounts, give us a call.
Excuse me, think your disposable razor shaves as comfortably as his Gillette Sensor XL? Yeah, well, try Sensor XL. It'll change your mind. After one shave with Sensor XL, we bet you don't go back. Because only Sensor XL has protective microfins for extra comfort. Wow. And self-adjusting blades for extra closeness. Disposables don't. And Sensor XL gives more shapes per blade than any disposable.
Excuse me.
Take the Sensor XL challenge. Bet you don't go back to disposables.
Hey, I want my Sensor XL back. Hey, hey!
Iowa 20-0 over Texas Tech, as the field goal is good, and special teams out, and the Red Raider fans still showing their pistols here, hoping their ball club can get back in it, but they got a big hill to climb with 10:36 left to play.
Yeah, Iowa's taking the bullets out of those guns tonight. Been a great defensive effort.
Yeah, it really has. It was the defense of Iowa has looked very impressive, well-schooled as to what they thought Texas Tech was going to do in this ball game. They've been right on with it, haven't they?
Yeah, Texas Tech's a team that played Nebraska very, very tight during the year.
Here's Hurley's kick. Clint Robertson, beg your pardon, inside the 5, takes it straight up the middle, and close to the 30-yard line. I don't know if that ball came loose or what. One of the Tech players went in late, like he was going in trying to recover it. There's Clint Robertson. Tell you, Mike, he's number 3 on the depth chart. He is a good-looking freshman that they think could turn into a real superstar before he leaves the South Plains.
He has good speed. Spike Dykes and staff really high on him.
They list him at 6 feet 179. He looks a little bigger than that, actually. That's Mitchell in motion to the top of your screen. Zephy Lethridge gets it away, has it complete, and that's Donnie Hart. And Hart will have it across the 45 to the 47, 17 yards in the pass play.
You know, Ron, as this game is winding down near 10 minutes marks, I keep thinking about Byron Hanspard. You know, he said, he's quoted as saying, God has a plan for my life, and I'm just following this plan. And he's going to make that decision next week of whether or not he's going to stay at Texas Tech. And I really believe he should stay at Texas Tech another year.
You know, I do too. Mike, it's one of those things where Boy, there's Mitchell dropping another football. He's worried about running before he catches it. There are some people who say, though, that he may not go pro football either, that he may go to the ministry. So,
well, you know, he made that statement. He said, you're going to be surprised by my decision. So, and Spike was talking about it the other day. He said, I'm not sure.
I thought it was interesting, though, that Spike said he started to talk to him the other day in the practice field, and he says, son, do me a favor. Just tell me when you tell everybody else. I don't want to know ahead of time.
And he said, you know, if he makes the decision to leave, he's already done great things at Texas Tech.
That pass well off the mark as Lethbridge had to really hurry. DeBuck is the man that they wanted to get it to.
Just have not been able to put anything together on offense tonight. But I think when that happens, everybody has a tendency to say, well, your offense is lousy. But give a lot of credit to those guys in those black jerseys, because they have really played well and have contained Byron Hanspard.
Yeah, Bobby Elliott's defensive club has played extremely well in this one this evening. Lethbridge on third down, hit as he gets it away. There was nobody over there. Here's the statement that Spike made about Hanspard, and if he does decide to go ahead and turn pro.
He makes a lot of third down plays for us, a lot of third down conversions, and he's a guy that simply fits our needs, and he's a guy that we feel like we'd like to have the ball in his hands as much as we can. Fierce competitor. One of the most fierce competitors I've ever known since I've been coaching.
Well, of course, in that one, he's talking about Zebby Lethbridge, the quarterback for the Texas Tech Red Raiders, and they are going to punt the ball away. They're not going to take a chance on the 4th down and 10. 5 kicks, 45.5 yards per boot. His longest 59 tonight. Jeremy Hernandez, sophomore out of Midland, Texas. Boy, they dribbled that one back to him, but he got it away. And Dwight can't do anything with this one, and Texas Tech is going to down it at the 1-yard line. 52 yards on the kick, and Oscar Solis got down there to touch it dead. So we'll hold it right here with 9:45 left to play in our ball game. And the Red Raiders, we have said it all night, Mike, it might have to be the defense that gets them off the snide, get a turnover or something to get some points.
Yeah, they need something, but I'm sure Hayden Fry and his Iowa football team and Don Patterson, the offensive coordinator, not going to take a lot of chances with a 20-0 lead in the way their defense is playing. They'd like to burn some clock here and get a drive going and put this one away.
So Iowa, as you can see, scrimmaging from their own end zone. Ball at the 1-yard line. And they'll just take it straight ahead, pick up what they can, and Filler almost broke it. Out of it, the 10 to the 12, the 13-yard line. A gain of 12 on the play.
Well, he's one of those 17 players from Texas trying to impress the home folks.
Tackled by Robert Johnson. The play clears for the Hawkeyes.
Clock running now, under 10 minutes left in our ball game. 20-0 Iowa. Texas Tech was actually favored in this football game.
And they were coming in. I think everybody, again, everybody wasn't sure who was going to show up to play, but boy, Iowa has proved that point.
Grandpuss, the fullback, takes it straight ahead. He's out to the 25-yard line. Good for the first down. Kellen Winslow, let's check with you.
Thank you, Ron. And Mike, we're here with Sandra Clark, the mother of Cedric Shaw. And of course, these people stand in front of us. Mrs. Shaw, how did you feel when your son decided to go to Iowa to leave the state of Texas?
Well, it was a decision that Cedric made. I was sad that he was going to go far away from home, but it was his own decision. So I decided if that's where he wanted to go, I would just back him.
How many games have you seen of his since he's been up at Iowa?
About 12.
And you had an interesting observation this afternoon about the death of the Mitchell family that you wanted to share with everybody.
Well, all the guys are pretty upset and sad about it because they are playing today up under a lot of pressure. and they have their teammate on their mind, the grief of his mother and father.
And you think that they're out there playing as hard as they have been in memory of her?
Yes, I do.
All right. Thank you very much, and thanks for being so patient with us. Ron, Mike?
Okay, Kellen, thank you. The numbers tonight, 115 yards and 20 attempts, just under 6 yards per try, and 1 touchdown. And Iowa has just called a timeout, so we'll take it with them. 8:11 left in this one.
From granules as fine as sand.
So you've chosen.
The holidays have changed. We're all so busy, I hardly even see the missus. All I want for Christmas is a little time together. Even dinner time is crazy. Wait a minute. The Disney Channel. That's it, Doc.
Good choice. The Disney Channel with the magical world of Disney. Movies every night at 7, 6 Central.
Fun and excitement come to Red & Jerry's, the perfect place to bring your friends and family. There's something for everyone. Great dining, shuffleboard billiards, interactive video games, off-track wagering, and a retail shop. The restaurant offers a full menu prepared under the direction of Chef Ken Crampert. Exciting dishes are presented with spectacular and generous portions. Come and be a part of an entertainment paradise. Easily accessible at the southwest corner of Santa Fe and Oxford, 15 minutes from downtown Denver and 10 minutes from C470. Red & Jerry's, entertainment like nothing you've ever experienced.
Sports news, updates, highlights whenever you want them. But why? What is this need to spoon-feed everyone everything instantly? Instant coffee, instant lotto, instant drive-through feed me now burger chains, instant cameras, instant credit, instant pudding. Actually, I like instant pudding, especially tapioca.
20-0, and you see the amount of time left, just over 8 minutes to play. The last time the Iowa Hawkeyes came to this bowl game, they stunk up the place, and Coach Hayden Fry said, we're not going to do that on this trip. And boy, they have lived true to his promise. Davian Banks breaks it outside. 5, 10, 15, knocked out of bounds finally by Darwin Brown, and he is all the way out to the 44-yard line.
16 yards on the carry by Davian Banks.
We talked about how they have a double-threaded tailback. You got Cedric Shaw, who's at over 100 yards, and then you bring in Tavian Banks, who broke his arm in the 5th game of last season. They have 2 outstanding tailbacks.
Well, the other thing that Don Patterson said that they had to have tonight was some balance on offense. They had to be able to throw it some, and also they had to be able to run the football. Well, when you look at the combination, 163 and 126, that's pretty doggone strong.
And you know, the other thing, Ron, is Texas Tech didn't put any pressure on their offense.
Nope. Tavian Banks finally tripped up by Dwayne Price, and he's close to another first down. That's a gain of 8 on first down.
What I mean by that is the Iowa defense had control of Tech's offense all night, so there was never any pressure for Iowa to get moving in a faster mode.
Spike Dykes obviously very disappointed in this performance tonight. Being the ball carrier, he will take it for the first down. Inside the 45, he's down to the 43.
But they'll be back, Ron. And being in the Big 12 the first year, I thought they had an excellent year.
Oh, they did. And in fact, they had a couple of ball games. Texas Tech gave one away at K-State. And there were a couple of more on there that the ball games were closer. They get over 600 yards against Texas and lose that ball game at home. Rare that you get over 600 and lose a football game.
Yeah, the kicking game really cost him, but he's done an excellent job recruiting. When you get players like Byron Hansbard, recruiting's just going to get better.
And again, the ball carrier goes straight ahead, puts his shoulder pad down, and at the 37, Price and Brown combining on the stop. Well, I'll tell you what. Between spring practice and getting ready for next year, and I don't know if Hansbard is going to come back or not, they're going to have their playing shoes on when they open 97, because they open at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee, before 107,000 people.
Well, that's the other thing about Spike Dykes now. He'll take them all on. I mean, he's played them all. Even when they were not in the Big 12, they would play Nebraska and Oklahoma. They take on all comers in their schedule. Go to Georgia this year.
And again, and he's close to the first down. In fact, from where the linesman has come in at the 32.5, it's enough for the first down. Price defensively, and we're about to go under 6 minutes left in this one as the clock runs down. Well, the Thrifty Car Rental Bowl Week continues New Year's Eve on ESPN. First at noon, the McDonald's Heritage Bowl, Southern University against Howard. Then at 3 o'clock, number 24 Army against Auburn, and the Poulan Weed Eater Independence Bowl in Shreveport, Louisiana.
I'll tell you what, Auburn better buckle it up in that ball game, because this Army football team's going to come to play, and they give you fits with the wishbone and some of the things they do on defense.
Yeah, Brother Oliver has, I'm sure, been staying up late studying for that one. We had him against Syracuse, and that's an unusual offense, the way they run their wishbone, and they're very efficient with it. Banks, the ball carrier, close to the 25.
Now we go to do the Alabama-Michigan game. What do you think of that ball game?
Very, very tight. Two excellent defenses. Gene will hang them up after Wednesday. So his team got something special to play for. But two schools with such great tradition. I'm anxious to see that one on Wednesday, Mike. We'll kick off bowl day. That's what, 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Eastern. 10th play of this drive, and it's going to be knocked down for a loss. That's Monte Rieger, who will get back and make the hit on Banks.
Banks brought down behind the line by
interesting bowl games when you look at Florida, Florida State.
And I hate what's happened with that one, Mike. That to me is out of character and has gotten out of hand. It's become personal, and I don't think that should happen.
I think it's going to be a good football game. I've said all year I think that Florida State is the best team in the country, and I don't think Thad Busby gets the credit he deserves. People talk about that they may have a weakness there. I certainly don't see that. I think he's a very, very solid quarterback. And with Warwick Dunn,
Driscoll, the quarterback, Mike, excuse me. Give this young man some credit here. The senior out of Cedar Rapids in, and he threw the pass complete to Willock, and he picks up the first down.
He started the first 6 games at 94 before he broke his collarbone. So the fans happy to see him in there.
12th play of the drive. About to go under 4 minutes. Driscoll 6'4", 220. As you look at Sherman down on the sidelines, and Sherman finished the night 9 of 16 and threw the 2-point conversion to the tight end. Tavian Banks almost broke it for 6 points and got tripped up. I believe it was Brown who got a hand on it.
Tavian Banks shows you that quickness in the hole. It's a good block by Aaron Granquist. 36. Ron, we talked about it early. The quarterbacks were going to decide this ball game. Whoever could play the most consistent, and you're looking at Matt Sherman. You gave his statistics on offense. He didn't make a lot of mistakes tonight. Got him in and out of some bad plays, and had a pretty fair night.
Kept him out of harm's way for the most part. They take it straight ahead there with Granquist, and he'll have 2.
Aaron Granquist on the carry for the Hawkeyes.
Depend on very well tonight. The Iowa defense, well-schooled, and that really is a big difference in this football game.
And when you look at the secondary, they have 3 or 4 starters from the state of Texas, so they've really blanketed the receivers tonight. And Zebby Lethridge didn't have a lot of area to throw the ball into.
No, he didn't, Mike. Fade route for the end zone. Connick for the touchdown. That's over. So both of the young men from Austin LBJ come home and score a touchdown. Shaw got his early, and now over.
Ron, that was a great catch by Demo Odoms.
And there's a flag down in the end zone. I think this is going to be for celebration.
Wishbone halfback out of high school that Iowa gave a scholarship to and moved him to receiver. And watch him stretch out and make this catch. A good concentration.
Pass interference on the offense.
And scratch everything.
Replay third down.
And that was a great catch that won't count.
Well, it won't go in the record books, but for all the folks who came down here from Austin to see him play, he said, you know, hey, I made it. It was one of the greatest catches of my life, even though it didn't count.
You saw it, folks.
And you could tell how popular or how badly his teammates wanted him to score coming back to his home state to play because they were all over him in the end zone.
Brought Tim Dwight back in the game here.
That's who they're looking for at the end zone. And here's a flag thrown against Texas Tech. Going to have pass interference.
The one thing I've seen all this college year, and I think it's got to be addressed by the Rules Committee, defensive backs in college football mug the wide receivers all the way down the field, and they have to go to the pro rule. Hit them at 5 yards, and that's it.
Yeah. Spike Dykes is out, and without being a lip reader, what Spike is saying is, hey, we've been getting mugged all night, and then you call that on us with 2:17 left in the ball game.
Spike's telling him, let this clock run.
14th play of the drive. This thing's been going on so long. You remember where it started? At the 1-yard line after Tech had downed the punt. So Iowa trying to seal it with a 99-yard drive.
That was an hour ago.
Kind of like riding the elevators at our hotel. Taking a while. We left a note in their suggestion box. We think they should add restrooms to them.
Yeah, you can see every floor.
This drive started with 9:45 showing on the clock. Dejected Zebby Lethridge on the sideline for the Red Raiders. Full house backfield. Miller bounces it outside at the 5. He'll score. Tavian Banks with an outstanding block on the play to get him outside. They're trying to get every kid from Texas to score a touchdown tonight. He's from Waco. Yards. What do we have? 14 or 15? 14 plays. Used up 7 minutes and 36 seconds. Broman with the extra point attempt, and he's good. So let's go to break. And one more look at the touchdown as Rodney Miller scores it, and you see the block by Banks on the outside. We'll be right back.
Corbel, for people who know champagne.
Give me a large fry, supersize.
I got it. It's time to pick the 97 NBA All-Star team.
Anything the kid wants.
And you can vote for your favorite players.
I love that haircut, man.
Where they serve America's favorite fries. McDonald's. Vote today.
It's your world, baby.
Behold, a technological breakthrough. Prestone Windshield De-Icer Washer Fluid. Unlike many blue washers, Prestone guarantees it won't freeze in your reservoir. Prestone De-Icer Washer Fluid. Wipe out ice in your lifetime.
Northwest Airlines can take you as far away and bring you as close to home
as any airline on Earth.
Some people just know how to fly.
2:09 left in our ball game. Don't forget, coming up next, Sports Center, Keith Olbermann and Carl Ravitch standing by, and some of the stories that they'll be talking about, NFL wildcard games, Sunday conversation with Steve Spurrier, and also Boston College and Louisville in a double OT. Now, the last time Texas Tech was shut out, 1987. That was a 31-0 loss to the Arkansas Razorbacks when Arkansas was still in the Southwest Conference.
It's a better football team than they played tonight.
No question.
People are looking at this game and trying to evaluate this team. This is a lot better football team than they played tonight.
Picked up at the 2. This is Stacy Mitchell. Breaks the tackle, and another out at the 40 to the 45, and now the 47-yard line. Well, Tim Dwight, I think, has been a difference maker in this one tonight. He does a little bit of everything. Likes to return punts, and he does that very aggressively, as you see on this play. Also likes to cover punts, Mike.
Made a great tackle on this run. Ran through on the tackle and made a nice tackle, and then he's a good pass receiver, which he shows you. Comes back, snatches the ball out of the air, and makes a big catch.
Look at him on the sidelines. 124 all-purpose yards tonight. 6 catches for 106. Had a 50-yarder just before halftime, and 2 punt returns for 23 yards. Sonny Cavazos, I beg your pardon, comes into the ball game at quarterback, a lefty senior out of Weslaco. No pass completions on the season. Cavazos 0 for 3.
Plymouth Holiday Bowl from Jack Murphy's